We have all seen it or heard about it, the rock star worship team. Ripped black skinny jeans, flannel, slight case of bedhead. Maybe that's just me. So those of you that have seen me, you've probably seen that. There are electric guitars, laptops on stage, big lights, loud music, and lots of tingles. None of this would be possible without technology. What you are hearing is a very relevant issue that saturates contemporary worship, the debated incorporation of modern advanced technologies in a corporate celebration setting. Modern technology can be used in worship in order to better enhance the experience for those that are being led in whatever ministry context, specifically in musical celebrations. By simply observing the modern world, technology can be viewed as a heavily relied upon tool and as a catalyst for what drives much of our motivations and impulses in our daily lives. For example, the cell phone. It's the most popular, accessible, and widely used technological device that we have available to us. The computer is a powerhouse that's utilized by businesses, by students, and for leisure all around the world. The internet and social media, this is what drives all of our available technologies. With that, we're able to send large files, data, videos, and other kinds of information virtually anywhere across the world. We can have face-to-face interactions with people through software such as FaceTime or Skype. Transitioning into the modern worship setting, here are some of the available technologies to worship pastors. I would like to start by saying that there are certainly appropriate and inappropriate ways to include technology into a worship setting. It really depends on your context. But a quote that I took from Steve Young in his book, All About Music Technology and Worship, says, "It is my conviction that any open-minded individual who is willing to invest a little effort toward learning music technology will reap huge benefits in ministry." So here are some of the available technologies. Music is arguably one of the largest used forms of worship in the Western evangelical contemporary church. When someone says the word worship, it seems like the first thing that pops into our minds is music. That's just the way it is. And technology lends itself very well to this form of worship in a variety of ways. In many contemporary style worship settings, it is not uncommon to see a laptop or multiple laptops on stage, usually on a music stand by the drummer or by the keyboardist. Music creation software has saturated the world of music technology in a substantial way, and when used in worship, musicians are able to take a computer right up onto the stage and have recording studio quality sounds and virtual instruments just at their disposal. So multi-track technologies offer worship pastors the flexibility and freedom to be down a member or two. A multi-track consists of individual stems. So a stem is an individual pre-recorded high-quality instrument. So for example, this is Ableton. This is Ableton. It's a software that drives that, and all of these are individual tracks. And so you see like bass, synth bass, acoustic guitar, electric guitar. So that can really fill up a sound for a worship team. And then musical notation and MIDI, standing for musical instrument digital interface. What MIDI does at the core is translate an audio signal or a data signal into terms of note value, velocity, and sensitivity for use in a digital software that then takes the note information and creates the sound of a completely different instrument. So we have all of those different instruments, and this is a very popular software called MainStage. In-ear technologies. In-ear monitors are simply headphones that take the place of an on-stage monitor wedge that allows people to hear themselves audibly. This allows for a much quieter stage volume and a better listening experience for everyone. And this is an example of a personal mixer where the musician can control exactly what they want to hear. And also the use of lighting has the potential to drastically shape a worship space. There are hundreds of combinations of lens, colors, bulbs, and configurations that can yield different lighting environments for the worship space. They're also able to make those that are on stage more visible as well. Presentational technologies are another area of available technologies that we could implement into our churches. A presentational technology is basically the screens that we see, or the projection, or even something like this with this projector. Quentin Schultz, in his book, High-Tech Worship, mentions some solid reasoning for the use of presentational technologies in a worship setting. He argues that it can help to facilitate singing, it can facilitate song leading, and more of a participative mindset with the congregation. With people not looking down at maybe a hymnal or a book of common prayer, at the small print, they can look up on the screen. Looking up will help them to audibly project more. Looking up is actually going to promote a more way of looking around, and more of a participative, congregational, communal sense of worship as well. In addition to these, the industry-leading church service planning and management software is PlanningCenterOnline.com. Churches, especially Western churches in the United States, use this online software to recruit, plan, schedule, and interact with volunteers. After observing all of these available technologies, Christ Community Church in St. Charles, Illinois, is a great case study to see how the technologies are being put to use in a very practical way. So I actually work at Christ Community. I was able to interview the head technical director there, Michael Montanari. He states that Christ Community Church has a $1 million sound system in their main sanctuary. This includes the speakers, the soundboards, the stage monitors, wireless systems, the in-ear monitors, and all of the different elements that go into the sound production. Not only this, but the church also possesses a very comprehensive lighting and video system with a total of 128 lighting fixtures and the ability to run video cameras, with the ability to switch between shots with ease at very quick speeds. Next, I'd like to give an argument for those that are against the use of technology and some of these advanced technologies in worship. The idea of distraction is a large source of hesitation for the use of these. I believe, though, that with the right worship pastor, the technology, whether big or small, can be used alongside the musical worship without becoming a distraction. And for that to happen, we have to observe the heart of the worship pastor. It is the responsibility of him or her to make sure that the technology is strictly in worship. This ensures that we are not worshiping the technology itself or idolizing that, but that it is only assisting us in bringing all the praise to God. We have to observe the heart of the congregation. Going back to Quentin Schultz, he says that technology can expand the spatial scale of worship with enhanced visual and oral clarity, but technologies cannot guarantee that congregants will be at church, only that they can do church. And so ultimately the question is the use of technology helping or is it hindering worship? If it is the latter, an honest evaluation of the church's end, or on the church's end of their technology needs to be taken. So all this being said, it is understandable why some churches are all over the technologies that are available to them. And it's understandable why some are scared of it and don't want to go anywhere near it. But author Susan White states in her book, Christian Worship and Technological Change, she says that technology bears within it both the seeds of human destruction and the seeds of human transformation. And so whatever context a ministry is in, a worship pastor, I feel, should at least know about the technologies that are available and what the possible advantages and disadvantages to those would be. The inclusion of technology, I feel, really has the potential to really benefit the worship life of a church when used correctly. Matt?
Yeah. Did you, in your interview, figure out what the lighting system was valued at?
I didn't find out what the lighting system was valued at, no.
Well,
I knew that you were probably going to ask that question.
And anyone can ask a question, okay? So I need my students for that question. Ben, I heard a worship pastor at a large church in here say one time, as he was leading worship, Lord, help us to truly be moved by the Spirit and not by the emotion of everything that is up here. How much of a danger is that? You talked about, the lighting and how that adds, and the sound and all of that. I mean, how do you keep that?
Well, yeah, ultimately, I feel that the technology is a good thing, but when used excessively or maybe in a way that is seeming to promote that kind of worship experience, that's when it can get dangerous. And when we are idolizing technology and not putting our idolization on God and what we're really looking for in real worship, I think that's when it becomes an issue. And sometimes in larger churches, like you mentioned, there are so many people there that you could never possibly know the heart of every single person that's there and what they feel like when they're worshiping. But I feel a lot of those things can really help in more of a practical way rather than simply just an emotional way. So the lighting, for example, can help to make the people more visible. The presentational technologies for the people that are all the way in the back of those really large churches, they can see the people that are on screen through image magnification. All the planning and all that can really help to create a uniform service. And so some of those elements are out of our control. I think that there could be distractions whether there's a lot of technology or whether there's no technology. And so that would be my answer for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
In all of your research, do you do any research on simpler technologies like heating and indoor plumbing?
Amen.
I have not. I've talked with Professor Torgerson about this, though, that even the churches that use some of the most basic technologies like that are still using technology. And so there are certain churches that go overboard and they get all the best lighting, all the best music software and all of that. And there are the churches that are still using hymnals and all that. And there's nothing wrong with that, but they're still using technology in a way. And so, I mean, like heating and just even like a room like this is using lighting technology. And so yeah, I've thought about it. I haven't really done a complete research like I did for the more advanced technology stuff. Angel?
So how would you say, because I know we played at your church, Lamplight, and then they got bought out, and to Christ Community. How would you say it helped the worship aspect? Because I know Lamplighter didn't have the funds to do that. So how would you say worship has changed since that happened?
That's an interesting thing that you bring that up because I've been researching funds a lot and budgets in churches, and there are very inexpensive ways to do some of this stuff. But with the resources like what Christ Community Church, like a large mega church kind of has, we were able to be a lot more organized. And especially with even the planning center software alone, we were able to plan all of our services. We had a layout for everything. And it was never a guessing game when we got there. So for musicians, they knew exactly what they needed to sing or play. Everything was a lot more uniform. And even though it was uniform, it can still be spontaneous in certain ways. There were different technologies that we use that we can switch something on the fly and make it work out. So yeah, it really took it from a level of kind of guessing and just kind of like being there to a level of more of excellence and kind of putting our best forward.
Good, thank you.